think that John Andretti was an underrated racing driver. In a professional career that spanned from the 1980s to the 2010s, Andretti won in the INDYCAR Series, the NASCAR Cup Series, and the IMSA Sports Car Championship. Something that showed Andretti's talent was his INDYCAR stint with the struggling Roth Racing team, which will be the subject of this video. Marty Roth had been a successful land developer in the Ontario, Canada area. He initially competed in Indy Next from 1988 to 1991, getting a best finish of third at Vancouver in 1990, before returning to the league in 2002. Prior to the 2004 season, Roth started his own aforementioned team after purchasing equipment from Panther Racing. That year, Roth also started to compete in IndyCar proper by qualifying for the Indianapolis 500 in 32nd place, but crashing after 128 laps and finishing 24th. From 2004 to 2007, Roth competed part-time for his IndyCar team. The most races they entered in a single season was 4 in 2007. Additionally, Roth's best result in his time was being 10 laps down and 14th at Chicagoland in 2007. The following year was a big one for the Roth team. They would start to compete full-time with 2 entries for 2006 Indy Next champion Jay Howard and Roth himself. In the first 5 races, Howard had a best finish of 13th place twice. Meanwhile, Roth qualified 8th at the Homestead season opener and 7th at Kansas, but failed to finish a single race and, infamously, crashed into Thomas Schechter's pit crew at Kansas. The 500 was the 6th race. Although Howard passed his rookie orientation, both he and Roth struggled to be quick and appeared to be at risk at failing to qualify, with rain canceling 2 of the first 4 practice days and the second qualifying day, limiting Howard's available track time. It was decided to replace him with veteran Andretti, although this was only supposed to be for Indianapolis. Andretti was in his IndyCar return. He initially competed from 1987 to 1994, won at Surfers Paradise in 1991, finished 8th in the 1991 and 1992 championships, and finished in the 500 top 10 4 times, topped by being 4th in 1991. He concentrated on the Cup Series starting in 1993, before returning to the 500 in 2007. That year, Andretti drove for Panther, started 24th, crashed out after 95 of the rain-shortened race's 166 laps, and finished 30th. For the 2008 500, Andretti qualified with a 4-lap average speed of 221.550 miles per hour. This would get Andretti the 21st starting position, the best for the team at the 500. On lap 61, Roth crashed and the race had a caution period. Following the ensuing pit stop sequence, Andretti got into the top 10 after Darren Manning had to make an additional pit stop to replace a damaged nose. Eventually, Andretti lost a lap and finished in 16th place. This was the Roth team's best 500 finish. Although Andretti was only supposed to do the 500 for Roth, he was offered to drive the rest of the season for them and accepted. At Milwaukee, Andretti qualified 16th out of 26 starters, but his race was relatively uneventful, as he finished 3 laps down in 19th. However, this is preferable to Roth's performance, which was crashing in practice and failing to start the race. For Texas, Andretti qualified in a great 7th place. On lap 3, he battled with Danica Patrick and Schechter for 6th, before becoming the leader of a large pack of drivers. At lap 10, when the race had its first caution period due to Mario Dominguez spinning, Andretti was in 13th running position. Unfortunately, Andretti's early pace did not continue and he finished in 16th place, 2 laps down. At Iowa, qualifying was cancelled due to rain. Following this, the starting lineup was done by entrant points and Andretti started 23rd of 24 drivers. Gradually, he increased his position. Entering turn 3 on lap 113, Andretti made a great pass on Will Power and Dan Weldon to get into 8th position. Moments later, Andretti and Weldon made contact. Both of them avoided crashing. As the race got to have 100 laps remaining in it, Andretti was running 7th and in a good position to give his team their first top 10 finish. 6 laps later, Mario Marias spun and the race had a caution time. At this point, Andretti was still in 7th. However, when he made a pit stop, the strategy was to only get additional fuel but no new tires, and gain track position. Unfortunately, there was an issue getting fuel into Andretti's car and he dropped to the rear of the field. For the second time in the race, Andretti gained positions after starting towards the rear of the field. With 43 laps remaining, Andretti battled with Power again. This time it was for 11th place. 21 laps later, Andretti was in a 4-driver battle for 10th. Ultimately, Andretti finished the race in 11th place. This was the best finish for Roth's team in their first time finishing on the lead lap. Richmond was Andretti's 5th race of the season. He started in a respectable 12th place. On lap 21, he was still in that position, but battling with Helio Castroneves. 8 laps later, AJ Foyt IV moved down on Andretti, made contact with him, and crashed. Andretti continued on. As the race restarted on lap 80, Andretti avoided a multi-car crash. Andretti's race had an early end on lap 92, moments after a restart. Vitor Meira slowed in front of Andretti and he rear-ended Meira, causing both to crash, and Andretti's car was badly damaged, resulting in a 21st place finish. This ended up being Andretti's final race with Roth. Howard returned to the number 24 entry at the next race, Watkins Glen. During his short stint with the Roth team, Andretti entered and started 5 races, had an average start of 15.8, an average finish of 16.6, a start of 7th at Texas, equaling the team's best, and a best finish of 11th at Milwaukee, the team's best in their only lead lap finish. Additionally, Andretti's 500 start of 21st and finish of 16th were the best in those categories for Roth, and Andretti's entry was the only time a Roth car finished the race.